What's good, my lovely peoples? It's your main man, Silas here, the humble wise one. Today I want to do this video discussing obesity. Is obesity a sin? Now, I'm assuming everyone knows what obesity means, but if you don't, it's okay. Obesity basically means that you're fat. It means you're really fat. Now, I'm going to discuss a little bit of religion as well as some other things in breaking this video down. But before I break this video down, I just want to bring some clarity to the Facebook account. Now, I deleted my Facebook account, and I don't think I'm coming back to Facebook. If you've been following me on Facebook since day one, you know that's where I put up all the lecture-style pictures, breaking down whatever I'm talking about before I do the video, so you can have a better perspective of what I'm saying. Now, a lot of people think that I deleted the Facebook page because of donations. It has nothing to do with donations. I deleted the Facebook account for peace of mind's sake. It's too chaotic, it's pointless on Facebook. No one's trying to learn anything on Facebook. People are just trying to regurgitate whatever they hear. So it's just annoying to me, and it's going to lead to me losing my peace of mind. Now, y'all have to understand, through peace of mind, this is how I was able to gain understanding of all the knowledge that I already had. So you have a bunch of knowledge that's all scrambled up within you. Through peace of mind, I was able to piece together all the knowledge I have to get a complete understanding of things. So I'm not willing to trade my peace of mind in so people can learn. My whole thing is this. I need to keep a peace of mind. I understand that I can create my own reality in my own environment. So I like to keep myself and my environment around humbled and peaceful spirits. Therefore, I can stay on that same track. So this is why I block and delete people a lot. It's just to keep my reality and my environment a certain way. So it's a simple but deep thing. But it had nothing to do with the donations. I wish I would stop talking about donations. At the end of the day, I don't come in anyone's inbox asking for donations or none of this. Y'all come asking me for stuff. And all I'm saying is, if you're going to ask somebody for something and you're going to receive from someone, meaning you watch my videos and learn every day, you should have some sense of give and receive within yourself. If you can't grasp that, then your spirit is too low. And it's not for me to judge if your spirit is too low or not. It's just for me to keep my environment the way I want so I can stay on the path I need to be on. I'm not trying to trade myself in just to be a teacher. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not going to trade in my peace of mind and who I am as a person and what I'm reaching for just so I can be a teacher. That's not how that's going to work. Now, let me get into this video. Is obesity a sin? Now, a lot of people that are following religions, they struggle with this because the religious texts don't necessarily say that obesity is a sin, but it uses obesity in its examples of describing what leads to sin. So obesity is used as an example in the religious text for lots of sins. So this leaves religious men to think, is God trying to say that being obese is a sin? And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. First thing I want to do is read two verses, or two little verses out of the Bible that speaks on obesity. Now, in Proverbs chapter 23, verse 1 through 4, it says, "When you sit down to eat with a ruler, consider carefully what is before you, and put a knife to your throat if you are a man given to appetite. Do not desire his delicacies, for they are deceptive food. Do not overwork to be rich because of your own understanding." So what it's simply saying is, worldly physical desires is what is going to make you lose yourself in the flesh. You're the spirit in the flesh. Worldly physical desires is what's going to make you lose your morality. So when you're dealing with a person, you have to always remember this. So what's the simple thing it's saying? Now, let's go to Proverbs 25:16. And it says, "Have you found honey? Eat only as much as you need, lest you be filled with it and vomit." So now, what's the simple thing that both of these texts is basically trying to say? Don't get lost in the worldly things, the physical desires of the body. Don't get lost in that, because then men will come along and basically bribe you with physical desires and bribe you of your morality and your principles. So that's basically what those two texts are saying. It's not saying that obesity is a sin. This is not what religion is saying. But it is saying that obesity is the beginnings of being lost in the fleshly, worldly desires. See, food is the only worldly, physical thing that you actually need. All other physical desires, you don't need them. You could literally go without them. But food is the one that you can't go without. And once a man begins to lose himself and become greedy on food, this is the beginnings of him being lost and greedy on all earthly, worldly desires. So it's a deep thing, and this is why food is used as the example. Now, on a universal law scale, is obesity a sin? Yes. Why? Because you're fat. So that means you're a mass murderer. So you have to grasp. Now, before you get mad, just grasp. Has nothing to do with how you look. It has to do with how you got fat. So obesity isn't a sin because of how you look. It's how you got to look that way. And it's because you're a mass murderer. Now, y'all have to understand, life sustains life. So whatever you're eating, it is living life. I don't care if it's a fruit, or it's a piece of meat, or a bird, or fish. Whatever you eat, it is living life because you are living life. So now you have to grasp. If all you're doing is desiring eating, every time you eat, you're eating something that is alive. Now you have to grasp. All life eats life. So everything is eaten by something. But no life takes advantage and just overeats. So you'll never see a fat-ass lion in the jungle. But you may see a fat-ass lion in the zoo. But not in the jungle. Because animals only eat what they need. Everything does this, except for man. Man gets lost in his desires, his worldly, physical desires. Begins to eat, losing sight that you're eating life. You don't need to eat every time you get a niche to eat, because that is life and it has its life. The fruit hanging from the tree has its life. The fruit hanging from the tree is attached to the tree by the stem, which is the umbilical cord. So you have to grasp. When you take an apple from a tree and you remove the stem, which is the umbilical cord, and you look at the apple, you're looking at a belly button. And you can clearly see that now that I said it. You can correlate it to your belly button and say, ah. So you have to grasp. The fruit is alive. It has its life. Now you must eat to sustain yourself. But you must already know in your mind, this is living life that I'm eating every time I'm eating. So I need to relax in my desires to eat. Because every time I eat, I'm cutting down a life. But you put you wanting to eat over the life. So where you like, I don't care. It's just a fruit. It's just a chicken. It's just a buffalo. And it never stops. It's just a man's hand. This is where it leads. So you have to grasp. When men become lost in the physical, worldly desires, it never stops. This is why obesity is a sin. Because when you see a fat man, you have to grasp. He has no thoughts of the life. Only eating. He just wants to eat. It doesn't matter if it's life. You have to grasp. A placenta is the same as the root of the vegetation or whatever there is. So y'all just have to grasp. But obesity is a sin because you're eating living life every time you eat and you have no cares of it to the point where you're fat on the life. It's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. Now, truly what y'all need to grasp, because a lot of people pull for diet and this and that. What you truly need to grasp is this. The life sustains the life. So you don't need to be eating a whole bunch of nothing. You shouldn't even be thinking about eating. You should eat when you get that, oh, I gotta eat. We all know when you can't avoid, oh, I gotta eat. This is when you're supposed to eat. But I know that's going to go into one ear and out the other. So the main thing y'all need to grasp is this. You have diet, and then you have flush. Grasp that. Diet and flush. Now the diet is the things that we eat, whether it be fruit, vegetation, meat, whatever. This is the diet. And then you have the flush, which is the fluids, the juices, and water. Now y'all have to grasp. If you don't eat meat and you only eat vegetation and fruit, you don't need as much fluid as someone who eats meat, because an animal is a more complex life than a fruit and a vegetation. Therefore, the animal will sustain you more than the fruit and the vegetable. So therefore, you need to flush more. Grasp this. One hamburger will fill you up like a bag of apples, meaning 10 apples is the equivalent to one hamburger in sustainment. It'll fill you up the same. You eat an apple and then you eat a hamburger, the apple will have done nothing for you, but the hamburger would. So this is what y'all have to grasp. When you eat something, you have to grasp the intake. Okay, if I eat a bowl of vegetation, I don't need to eat a bowl of meat, because meat is a heavier diet than the vegetation and the fruit. So whatever intake you're taking in vegetation and fruit, you have to know the portion of that in the heavier diet and how much you need to flush. See, if you're eating vegetation and fruit, that already comes with its juice. You don't need that much fluid if you're eating fruit. But if you're eating meat, you need a lot of fluid so that you can flush the diet out, because it's a heavier diet than the fruit and vegetable. So it doesn't mean that you can't eat meat or you can't eat this thing or that thing, because that's putting the living life over the neck, and it doesn't go that way. Whatever you eat is living life. The thing is, if you're eating meat, you need to be drinking a lot of water and juice when doing that. And you need to eat small portions of meat, because meat will sustain you faster than the fruit and vegetation. If you eat one apple, you'll be hungry still. If you eat one piece of meat, you'll feel sustained. So you have to grasp. Just eat what you need to sustain yourself and understand flushing. This is more important than anything. The amount of fluid you're intaking. You want to be greedy on fluid, not food, if anything. So it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. But obesity is a sin, and y'all need to watch how y'all eat. If you can't control how much you eat, you're not going to be able to control yourself with any other worldly desire. Grasp that. Because you actually need the food. You don't need the rest of them. So if you can't control yourself with what you need, you're not going to be able to control yourself with the things you don't. Grasp how deep that is. You're in control of yourself. You're in control of how much you eat or don't eat. You're in control of understanding that's living life. So if you overeat and you can't control yourself with that simple thing, how are you going to control yourself when men come and bribe you with gold and wealth and this thing or that thing for your morals and your principalities? You're not going to be able to. You're going to fall for anything, knowing it's wrong, but you like, I got to have it. And this is the whole point. Obesity is the beginnings of that. And it's a very deep thing. Now, I have about 3 or 4 more videos that are already predated to do for y'all. So I'm going to either do them tonight or tomorrow, and I'll release them to you guys. And then I'm going to try to figure out how I'm going to teach from now on, because I don't want all the chaos and confusion. So I'm going to try to find all those who donated and, have some sort of understanding of life and just conduct. And then I'll try to figure out a way to just teach y'all, and those that want to come in can come add in. But I ain't figure all that out yet. So as of now, I'm just going to chill. I have other things to do. Anyway, so I'm just going to get caught up on other things I have to do. I have a couple of books I got to finish and other things I need to do. So I'm just going to do that. And I'll leave y'all with these last few videos. And, those of you that take life serious, you already know what to do. It's your main man, Solace, the humble wise one. You already know I'm here for the life. Oh, boy.